Yep. Good stuff. Good stuff. Welcome, everybody. It is Freak Show Friday. I'm glad you are all here with me. It's going to be a great show. For the people that have been following me since I started, welcome back. Can't wait to see you guys. For all the people that are newcomers to the group, we welcome you. Namaskaram. Bow down to the divine in you. And we're going to touch on some good stuff here in this show. So hold on to your seats. Bear with us if you're not used to this type of stuff of talking about conspiracies, UFOs, giant, ancient technology, everything, conspiracy theories, government cover-ups, everyday life stuff that's going on. Sorry, I took my glasses off because the sun's setting and it's glaring in my eyes, and I can barely see you guys, so I had to take them off real quick. Yeah, yeah. All right, enough of that. So today we were going to cover some just vast range of things that we've already talked about before. Um, I'll just go over it in like little segments, tidbits, and if you guys have questions or things you guys want to say or talk about or add to or whatever, we will do that. All right. So I am actually getting on my YouTube message. Matter of fact, let me see. Might as well just get on my page and I guess I could just talk to you guys straight from there. Should be all right, I think. Yeah. Let's see. How the hell do you do this on YouTube? You just. Okay. Got it. I think it's working. Okay. So, like I said, once again, thank you guys for joining the show. Glad to have everybody here. And if you're new, welcome aboard. Come along the weirdo ship. And a lot of this stuff that we talk about on here might be controversial. It might do with things with religion. I don't facilitate to that. Um, and I will say why is because what I have found my whole life, I've always felt like something was off. Something was missing. It wasn't right. I was asking, my mom. I would ask my aunts and uncles a lot of questions about stuff. Just growing up, I always had this feeling of just something was just off. That's the only way I could. I mean, I remember telling my mom when I was about 8 years old. I was just telling her, "Hey, mom, I'm gonna die young." And she's like, "What are you talking about?" I said, "I don't know. I just feel like I'm gonna die young." And that feeling of being, that way. I mean, I don't know how to explain it. You're an 8-year-old kid, right? And second off, while my father, when we were stationed in Germany, and I was about 9 years old, I never knew my grandfather, but I seen him in Germany, he came to me, and I'll never forget his face because he asked me, and I could talk to him because I seen him. I'm like looking right at him. He was sitting on the couch right next to me, and he was asking me, who do you know who I am? And I'm playing with my car that one of my dad's friends got me, a remote control car. I'll never forget it was a BMW. I think it was a 350 series, in one of the 80s ones. And I'm like playing. I'm like, yeah. And I look over at him, and he's got this blue suit on, and his hair slicked back, and and in his face, I could see all the wrinkles and the lines in his face. Um, and he was already older, and he looked at me, and he had his hands in his lap like this, just you know, leaning on his knees, and he goes, "Who am I?" And I told him, "You're Grandpa Joe, my dad's dad." And he goes, "That's right." And he was like, "I love you, right? And I'm always going to be here for you if you need me." And I said, "Okay," and I just looked over, and I just remember that smile. His face, he didn't, show his teeth, but he was just smiling. And just remember my mom. I looked over, and she was like, "Who are you talking to?" And I was like, "Grandpa." And she was like, "Grandpa?" And I was like, "Yeah, Grandpa Joe, dad's dad." And she was like, "What did he look like?" And I described to her what he looked like. She went inside her room because, like I said, I've never met my grandfather. I hardly ever saw pictures of him. Don't remember, I wouldn't have been able to pick him out in a lineup. She goes to the room, gets her photo album out, which I'm glad she did because it kind of validated what I was saying. She goes, "Go through here and tell me if you see him." And I'm like going through, and I go, "That's him right there." And sure enough, it was my grandfather in that same suit that looked just the way he did in that picture. And I go, "That's him right there. That's Grandpa Joe." He was sitting right there talking. I showed my mom, and it tripped her out because, like I said, I never knew anything about my grandfather as far as like meeting him and actually talking to him, and seeing all the pictures and my dad talking about, because I had never asked. I just knew that he had passed away. So, do I believe in spiritual manifestations, apparitions, ghosts, whatever you want to call them? I like to believe that they're spirits that have left and gone to a higher dimension, because your body stays here and your spirit leaves. And we know that our spirit, our soul, whatever you want to call it, we are essentially pure energy beings. This body that we're wearing is just a suit. And when we die, every religion and culture talks about the ascension, pretty much, is that your soul will leave your body and go to the afterlife. Just like the ancient Egyptians talked about when they were talking about going to the afterlife and having Anubis, I believe it was, weighing your heart to see if you were worthy enough to go into the afterlife, and weighed against a feather on the scales. And you have Native Americans that talk about going back to Mother Earth and starting, giving ourselves back to where we came from. And in religions as well, you hear it, told in religions, that when you leave, your body leaves and you go to a different plane, and you're judged, and either you stay and you're able to go through the afterlife, or you burn in hell. But like I said, understanding what I've been researching and getting into now has opened my eyes to why I always felt the way I felt growing up about dying and reincarnation and our purpose and our main focus in this plane of life. While we're here on this plane, it really put everything into perspective. And I am not talking about religion. I'm talking about spirituality, your spiritual awakening, your ascension. Your elevation has gone from being on that same frequency that you've been just like living on, just looking at everything the way you look at everything, and just a sheep with the herd, a sheep just going with everybody. you know. And now, since understanding and studying and looking at this stuff and then having the big oh shit moment of waking up and be sitting back, and you're just like, you see everything differently. Movies, books, music. You can't go to the store without freaking just looking at things and being like, holy crap, you know, this food is fucking killing me. They're killing us through this food, you know. I I have literally, we have not gone to eat out in a while. And if we do, it's like rare because we're either in between trips taking the kids to the doctors or whatever. But we refuse to take our kids to get fast food. Um, and that comes apart with that whole waking up and realizing what the hell they're doing to our food and feeding to us. And that's another story. But look into that one. And then when you hear about people talking about rabbit holes, I've taken many rabbit holes. Many rabbit holes that I've been like this, okay, I got to look into this. Got to look into the moon landing. Got to look into the flat earth globe theory. Got to look at how in the hell we would be able to, the secret space force, um, whistleblowers, the disclosure movement with Dr. Stephen Greer, getting into books by and following. This is the Emerald Tablets, the compendium of the Emerald Tablets, A Beginner's Guide by Billy Carson. I'm going to be reading out of that in a little bit. But Billy Carson, I praise you, man. You've been one of the leading pioneers. You, David Wilcox, Dr. Stephen Greer, and so many, 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 many other people. Emery Smith, Coast to Coast. Everybody pushing this movement to get to where I wouldn't say that it's disclosure, but it's validation of what we already know, that we're not alone on this earth, especially in this universe. We're not the only ones out there. And these guys have been at the forefront of putting the information and the knowledge out there of these things that have been hidden from us for so long. Who we are, where we come from, the evolution of this planet, the catastrophes, the civilizations that have lived here, the resets of civilizations that have it's only been within the 100 years or 120 years, that history was just wiped out. Nobody knew about it until people started getting on the internet. We started spreading the word, and everybody was posting and looking into this stuff, and sure as shit, we were right. And then the CIA released documentation on it, talking about how they had covered up Tartaria, or how it was covered up by heads of governments to wipe out this information on this this far more advanced civilization that was living here, like I said, within 120 years. That was way more advanced. You think cell phones were freaking new? No. Electric cars, scooters? No. That's old stuff. Old. That shit was out in the 1890s, 1880s. And like I said, there's proof of it. The early 1900s, 1904. People using this cell phone technology, that they had this thing where they would carry around, hook it up, ground it to a freaking pole or a freaking fire hydrant, open up a freaking antenna, and they're cranking it up. Fucking dial right to a freaking person on the freaking street. Late 1800s, early 1900s. Stuff wasn't new. It was old. Electricity, free electricity. They were gathering it from the atmosphere. Nikola Tesla was a testament to that because he tried to get us on that. And he was cast aside like he was just, some fool. Why are we going to give out free energy when we fucking charge people for it? And you're out here showing them how to do this stuff and giving them your notes? Nikola Tesla died a poor man, and I just want to mention him because he is the father of electricity, and the man was way beyond his time, and he was probably given information through dreams, information that was just coming to him on stuff that he was trying to help humanity um, harness, because it was our God-given right. It was our, it was given to us. It's knowledge that is something that was going to help advance humanity. And I believe that he was one of the chosen few to be a part of our historical timeline, I guess you could say, because we've had people throughout time that have been historical figures that have tried to do things where advancing civilizations, technologies, giving people advancements with information technology, the advancement of thought and spiritualism, and a lot of them were shut down, persecuted. You got to remember that during the Inquisition, what was the church doing? And this is a big question, as people are saying, "Oh well, you know, this is demonic, and you can't be talking about meditation and yoga, and that's not godly for you to be doing that." Well, I'm sorry that you're so closed-minded because of what you've been taught your whole life, or people are telling you this is your life right here. This straw with chocolate milk. This is all you. This is all, everything. Don't question nothing about anything. Anybody else brings you anything else or tells you something else, they're wrong, and they're going to burn in hell for it. That's what opened my eyes, is because I found that there was more. And it started with me in the Bible, because I was baptized Catholic, and my mother and father started going to, Christian church, non-denominational churches, and growing up there and growing up in Baptist churches. It was like I felt like I was in a cult, mentally, because it was just, when I look back on it now, it's become so businesslike that it's gotten away from its very purpose that it was trying to shove down everybody's throat. You're seeing it now with a lot of these pastors. TD Jakes, that guy's gonna go down for what he did and what was going on with him, with his P Diddy daddy, parties. He was, evidence is coming out on that, and he swore it up and down. I don't have anything to hide. I'm not lying. It sucks, man, because a lot of people looked up to these people and they were just blowing smoke, which is why I said I chose myself to be away from that box. Because after reading old texts and placing it, you're finding that everything that you've learned was from things that were 36,000 years old, way before that. And it was actually implemented from ancient cultures into religion, which is why I said people don't realize that when they first canonized the Bible, they took parts that they wanted and left out parts that were considered heresy that did not fit the narrative. This is truth, and I'm sorry if people get mad about it, or like, I don't want to talk about this, but it is true. There are books that were left out that got into depth way more with spiritualism, and the spiritualism aspect of it is when people realize that, Jesus was born, and the lost 18 years, I believe, of his life, where he went from 18 to 32, and everybody was asking about what happened during that time. They don't realize that he went back to Egypt, he went to India, he went to Tibet. This is all recorded stuff, and he was learning from sages and teachers on spiritualism reincarnation, magic, and you see now that the stuff that he was doing of bringing people back from the dead, a lot of cultures do this stuff because anybody who has mastered the art of oneself, spirit, and mind, and like they say in Star Wars, the force around you, we know that this stuff is true because when you can speak into existence something, that's where you get your power from. Is not, getting on your knees and sitting there and going, oh God, Jesus, help me, I want this. You're praying to God, to him, to send you something, when the power that you have in your body, in your mind, and to come out of your mouth, you have that power, which is what Jesus was telling everybody. Does he not say that? The same power that you see in me is in you. The things you see me do, you will be able to do also because the power is in you. You're no different than me. You're putting me on this platform telling me I'm up here, but I'm here with you. It wasn't until the Bible got put together and canonized by Emperor Constantine and putting in place a bishop and popes and all this other stuff, which goes back into cult worship, because when you look at Dagon and that whole ritual, it goes right in line with the Catholicism. It's a big cult thing. And that's what woke me up to realize there was something more, and finding out that this religion stuff was adapted from ancient civilizations, cultures, rituals that were happening thousands of years, stories of virgin birth, stories of resurrection, stories of men who were coming and teaching people and giving them information, trying to teach them to walk spiritually and walk through life and get ahead in life and be humans and find out that we have that power, but they were shut down. The powers that be didn't want to hear that stuff. And we know that human beings, all right, and I'm going to get on topic here now because I've been talking about 20 minutes now on just why we have the show, but this is stuff that we have the show for, is to talk about this stuff. Because if we find information or something is coming out and we could put it out there to everybody, at least everybody will understand and be able to look into it for themselves. This is what we're doing, is sharing the knowledge with everybody, letting you go through and research it and find it for yourself. And that's, like I said, it goes back to, Billy Carson says the same thing. You want to learn, you're going to have to learn yourself. Go get your own research and do it. Do your work. So passing that information, it's better to pass the information than the knowledge along, so everybody will be able to know and be able to say, I will take this or I won't. But this is a place where we can come together and just hang out, chill, laugh, be goofballs, talk a little shit, but at the same time get some insight and some knowledge and some information, and be able to talk amongst each other and ourselves, and shoot the shit on this stuff. So the first topic that we are going to be going off on is the latest ancient finds from Göbekli Tepe. And let me find that real quick because I had a... There it is. Let me share screen this thing. Hold on. Oops. All right, there we go. All right. So this is Göbekli Tepe. This site goes back 11,200 years, I believe. And this is something that shocked society in the archaeological field and scientists around the world that do studies of carbon datation, because this site should not be here. This site should not exist, and it should not be as advanced as it is for the advancement of stonework and for the astronomical alignment that is in this circle. And you'll hear about this in the video. I'm just going to go through it, skip through it. But it's called Göbekli Tepe. Check it out, look it up. And, you know, look at some videos. It's pretty cool stuff. So let me... All right. There we go. That's better. All right. So go. This is beautiful.
Hello everybody, and welcome to Ancient Architects. Please subscribe now to get the latest ancient history news and independent research from around the world. This past weekend, a number of incredible new discoveries have been announced from the latest excavations at the 11 to 12,000 year old Tastapela sites of Göbekli Tepe and Karahan Tepe, located in the southeastern Anatolia region of Turkey. Considering their age, each new discovery is absolutely stunning in its own right, and in this video I'll give you the details. The first new discovery comes from the 11,500 year old site of Karahan Tepe, from a newly excavated enclosure.
11,500.
Karahan Tepe is so huge it's hard to comprehend, and only a small percentage of this site has been excavated, and every new excavation local limestone, and it truly is one of the most impressive examples of prehistoric art we've seen to date, and it's enormous, standing 2.3 metres or 7 feet 6 inches in height. We can see clear and distinct facial features with its realistic eyes and haunting expression.
For the time.
It also looks to have hair and a beard, which may give us some idea of how these ancient people styled themselves. Showing how this one truly ancient and long-lasting culture was spread across the region. This statue at Karahan Tepe was found within a niche that was fixed to the ground. It looks to be seated, and experts believe it's not portraying a starving person, but someone that is in fact deceased, hence the emphasised ribs and shoulder bones. The statue was discovered broken in two. Well, three, because some views of it that were shown on Turkish media and black pigment residues on its surface. The tongue of the animal was painted red, and the white and black were found on the fur. This makes it one of the oldest painted statues ever discovered, although that is likely just down to preservation and not when humans first started painting artefacts. The ball was positioned in a very important place in Enclosure D, at the midpoint of the two central T-shaped pillars on the edge. I'm planning to visit in 2024 to see these incredible sights in person.
Alright, so that's just a little taste of Göbekli Tepe. Now, like I said, that site is 11,500 years old. It should not have been there. It should not even exist. You see the stonework and the capabilities of what these people are doing around that time. If they were doing that, and they were already that advanced for stoneworking, and that's 11,000 years ago, what the fuck's been going on between that time? That's the big question, is like, if they were doing that and there were other civilizations around the world that were doing just as good, the advancement of technology you would think would just be vast. And you get things like the stone hammer that's found in that coal rock that's fossilized, that's like millions of years old, and you're like, what the hell? And they can't understand it because it shouldn't be there, but it is. So is it something where we are seeing time travel? You know, things like that watch that they found in China that was in the tomb. Let me see if I could pull that up. That was some pretty cool stuff. All right, I'm going to show this, put this on the screen. So I'm not sure about the time of when this was shared. It wasn't that long ago. I think it was this. Um, it was like 2 years ago or something like that, I believe. But as you can see, this watch is a swish finger watch that was found in that ancient tomb. Pretty cool stuff, right? Things that shouldn't be there. Things that shouldn't be there. And it makes you question, like, are they hiding stuff from us? Do they know things that we don't know about? Obviously, they do. I mean, no shit. So, with things like that, it makes you wonder, what else are they hiding from us? What else is not being told to us? What other technologies are they hiding from us? Let's see. This one right here, too. And there's a lot of things around that archaeological sites that have been excavated, and they've found things that should not be, but they do. Come on. All right. Let's see. Yeah, I think it's this one. Let's check it out.
There are still enormous gaps in it. We sometimes like to think we have a good grasp of why our ancestors did the things they did and
Right?
how they lived their lives, but then we'll find
We don't know
something that
shit.
challenges our understanding. All of the discoveries in this video do that. They're things that shouldn't exist according to our understanding of the people who made them. What was it that inspired...
Did you guys see that? Ah.
the ancient Chinese Hongshan
So there was
culture.
a picture, and that was another fact too. Is that how the hell are these people who are, 500 years ago, 700 years ago, drawing these pictures of these fucking dinosaurs on rocks, on paintings, in murals, in documentation? They called them dragons because dinosaur didn't come out until the 1800s. That word was never made, it wasn't even around. What did they call them? Dragons. So yes, fucking dinosaurs were around when people were here.
To make so many strange statues out of jade. Sadly, unless we find a hidden repository of their knowledge, we may never know. All we can do is appreciate the artistic beauty of their creations and wonder about the processes that created them. Virtually nothing is known about the Hongshan culture, aside from the facts that they were a Neolithic era culture and they lived in and around China's Liao River. The jade figurines they made are interesting because while they're mostly humanoid in shape, they don't appear to be representations of humans.
What the fuck?
What people see when they look at them varies from observer to observer. Some people look upon the statues and see dragons or horned beasts. Others see
Hybrids
goats,
or something.
deer, cattle, or other animals. There are even a few examples that look like the classic gray alien that's so beloved by science fiction writers. It's no wonder that some people believe that this ancient community was visited by extraterrestrials. Perhaps it's more likely that these are figurines of the gods that the Hongshan worshipped. If so, they're remarkable works of devotion.
Oops.
There are several recorded examples of long staffs or wands being discovered in the graves of Viking women. The most notable and best preserved of them comes from a grave that was opened several years ago in the Gavle area of Sweden. Although a longer one has more recently been found in Foldby, close to Ringsted in Denmark. All of the burials appear to be of wealthy women, but the presence of the staffs isn't thought to be connected to the wealth of the women. Instead, there's a suspicion among Scandinavian archaeologists and historians that these are the Viking equivalents of magic wands and were carried by women believed to be seeresses. The ancient Viking word vulva is thought to mean staff carrier or wand carrier, and it seems that this was an important rank in Viking society, hence the apparent wealth of the women who held it. On more than one occasion, the graves of women buried with these so-called wands have also been found to contain. They could be so small you could fit them in your pocket, or they could be the size of a whole city. As an example,
another thing I wanted to talk about, and that was just us going over some stuff about crazy ass finds that people have seen or they have found throughout the world. I mean, everybody's seen it. You know, they've seen that one where the mummy that had the shoes that looked like they were Adidas's. They were red and white, looked just like them. It's something that makes you think. And there are stories of things, of people that were found that were from this time, that were dated back thousands of years, that pretty much have claim to people that have done military experiments with time travel. And that, like I said, that's just the stories of the people who were there that, you know, came forward, I guess, on deathbed stuff. And then it comes to find out, yes, that happened. Does it have anything to do with that? Maybe. I think once the government gets involved and they get their hands in that stuff, then, you know, it's pretty much over and done. Ooh, I hate this thing. But anyway, so things that I mean, you look at these ancient societies, right? These ancient cultures, and we see that they built these great monuments, these buildings out of stone, just carved them straight out of the mountain rocks, right? And we're supposed to believe that these people were just hunter-gatherers. It's very unlikely. Very unlikely. And the Sphinx and the pyramid we know are a lot older than what they're telling us. And I'm pretty sure that one day that's going to come out and it's going to be like, yeah, you guys were right. You know, all these researchers and these archaeologists that have been studying this stuff, I mean, kudos to them. They're going to have their validation. And knowing that it was a power station. There's no way that that place was a grand building for a burial of one person. You got to be shitting me. We've had scientists that have validated why the pyramids were built, what they possibly used them for. There were power stations to harness the energy from the earth. I don't know. Maybe they fucking needed it for their ship. They found a way to use plasma to power their ships or something. I don't know. But that's the theory. And that's, you know, that makes more plausible sense because you don't just see it in Egypt. You see it in Teotihuacan. You see it in Machu Picchu. You see it in Europe at Stonehenge and Egypt. You see it in Bosnia, the pyramids there. You see it in China. You see it in Asia. Africa, for Christ's sake. Africa's got hundreds of pyramids from what I've heard other researchers putting out there that hasn't even came out. I mean, there's more sites that are being found in South America of these grand cities that are covered by the jungle. It's got to make you think. It's got to make you think like, man, what the hell is really going on? And why would they hide this? Why would they not say something? And it does make you think. Why would they cover it up unless they knew what it was for, found ancient technology to suppress it? And that's the shitty part, is because we know that they do it. We know that they suppress information. We've seen an advanced kickstart of technological advancements since the Roswell crash. We've seen 100-year leaps in bounds within the last 50, 60 years. You know, and a lot of people make this point, and we're still driving gas cars. You got to think about that. Elon Musk with his electric cars, thank God for him for trying. Excuse me. But that thing has to get plugged in to get charged, and it's still using electricity that's being powered by fossil fuels. So really, we're not doing anything. It's helping to keep people aware. Excuse me. It's fucking dusty in here. And people understanding that these technologies have been around for a long time. There is nothing new under the heavens that has not already been here, that hasn't been here before. This isn't new stuff, it's just recycled stuff. So if this is being recycled, and we know that there's been technologies that give us free energy, they know that they can cure these diseases, why do you think they got rid of natural medicine, natural herbs, natural remedies? Yes, we've come far in finding polio vaccines, measles vaccines, you know, how to treat a cold, how to advancements in medical science for surgeries and keeping people alive. But do you think that these people care about you when they're having you pay $1,600 for a pill to get your cancer treatment? Why? Because they know you're going to pay it. Right? That's what I'm saying about waking up and you're realizing and seeing things. This is what I mean. You see things differently. and things that are so fucked up in society and our government and in the world, and how politics are being played. I mean, and the hiding and the lying to the people about what's been going on. But when you get on these conspiracy theorists and you talk to these people, we've been right along all this whole time. Things that we've been talking about, people have been talking about for years. They were being laughed at, mocked at. Look at Julian Assange and these whistleblowers. They're going to go to jail for what? Uncovering what the fucking truth is? That's pretty scary. When you can't even say anything anymore because of the Patriot Act since 9/11. Don't get me started on that road, because like I said before, I don't believe that these terrorists flew these. I think it's a false flag. It's a setup. It's the same thing that they're saying is going to happen here. They know it's going to happen. They just don't know where and when. But is this something they're already talking about, these false flags that are going to end up happening in Ukraine to get us to get pushed into war? To blame it on somebody so that way either Putin can freaking go ahead and nuke them and give them a reason to go to war, or it's going to draw the United States into it to say, oh, well, they attacked us, so now we have to go to fight. Something's going to happen. And I've been saying this for a while, since this crap, the past 2 years, whether it's just on regular posts or, since I started this podcast. So that's something that you got to watch out for, because like I said, it's something that's brewing and it's happening, and a lot of people are just like, I got to go to Walmart. Yeah, you got to go on about your life, but it's good to be aware of the seriousness. I mean, this is nuclear war. We're not talking about he's going to go, send the biggest bomb just to blow up a town. He's going to this is going to be something serious. This is fucking nukes, man. So that's a development to keep an eye on. Going back into the whole bullshit about the government lying about shit and getting us involved in fucking baloney. We got to worry about our home. I'm not going to go travel to another city to go defend some other guy's house that's getting fucked up if mine's getting broken into here. There's no reason for us to go all the way over and get involved in somebody else's business that shouldn't have been started in the first place. And that goes into what else I was wanting to talk about was in other countries about how they're seeing these Nephilim, these giants in different parts of the world. And we've talked about this before in early episodes, was why people are thinking that this is something that's happening a lot more. Could it be that the end times that have been prophesized, throughout the ages about the end times and what was going to happen that people were foreseeing, could this be something attributed to it? Because it's been said that in the times, it'll be just like it was in the time of Noah. And we know that during Noah's time, there were giants and there were people that were cursing him and telling him how stupid he was because, he was doing this grand thing that it took him, I think, 5 years to build the ship. But these people were living in a way, there was freaking abominations. The Nephilim were mating with the women and taking wives when they weren't supposed to, and having children and creating these Nephilim. And they were teaching men things that they shouldn't have been teaching them. Magics, how to create weapons and how to control and make medicines and control your surroundings, and getting into those practices of things that the Creator was telling them not to spread that information. So he decided to cause the flood. And we know that this is something that actually happened because it's talked about throughout different cultures, and the evidence is seen all over the world. So I talked one time about giants, and seeing whistleblowers on Gaia talk about people that go missing in national parks, and the reason why they have national parks is because they're trying to cover up something and lie about oh, well, they're national parks because we want to keep it a sacred site. We want to keep it free from the damages of the outside world. But you have whistleblowers who are talking about the reason why we have national parks is because they're covering up and hiding something. What are you going to do if you want to hide something? Put it in fucking plain sight. Don't allow people to go in there because they're not going to be able to go inside of there. They'll get fucking locked up in 15 years and threaten people with that, or 30 years for trespassing on federal land. It'll scare people. It'll make them think twice about going and checking out something. And that's one of the things that the government does is they'll dangle something with you to get you distracted while they're over here, doing some shady shit or hiding or lying or covering up something or causing some bullshit, but they're telling you something different on this side. And that's what you see with history, with the information of why these people um yeah, here it is. And that's why you get it to where people don't understand the cross sectioning. And I'm going to get off off track a little bit, but is that the story that was told in the Bible and the narrative that we see goes back to the ancient Sumerian cuneiform tablets. And if you don't know what that is, look it up. I'll post some pictures inside the video or in the comments. You could click on them and check them out. A lot of people don't realize that these are some of the oldest known, which spawned language and writing in Mesopotamia. So if you don't know who the Sumerians are, check it out. It's really, really, really interesting stuff. It's good stuff. I'll just copy this real quick. You guys can. Stupid thing. I'll put the address in here. So I'm putting it in the Secret of the Unknown site. Sorry, YouTube. I can't get on there and do it with you guys, so I can transfer it over later on after I get on here. But yeah, you have the Sumerian tablets that talk about the creation, Adam and Eve, the gods who came down. Okay, and it goes into all of the Old Testament. All this stuff is transferred over from the Sumerian tablets, which were written 36,000 years before that, or 5,000 years, whatever it is. I believe it was freaking 36, because they can transfer their king's list, which is hundreds of thousands of years of the rule of their kings, where one of them was a queen. So you're talking about this information that is older than what they're telling us that we're around, and it's breaking that norm because it should not be there. It shouldn't. But yet there it is, and it gives descriptions and names and everything else. So like I said, the narrative that we've been told and we've been taught is not what you think it is. It's not what anybody thought. And once you wake up to that realization and understand that, looking deeper and not just taking things what people say, because we grew up learning and doing things and realizing how things are, that we've forgotten our true nature, our spiritual nature, that we're all God's. God is in us. The creator that created us is within us. And that is another topic of a one whole show that we can do. But that goes back into the true nature and the true teachings of Jesus Christ and what he was actually saying when he was on this earth, trying to um, give understanding to the people. It wasn't like do as I say and you're going to go to hell and it's a lake of fire and it's going to burn forever. And I'm just saying that it's a lot different than that. When you look at these, like I said, these these tablets and this and cultures that these ancient cultures that have been around for thousands of years that predate this, talk about something totally different. And they talk about the resurrection of these Nephilim that didn't die during the flood, but were still around, because it says that in the Sumerian tablets and also the Emerald tablets that some of the people hid in the earth to escape the deluge. How they did that, I don't know, because you would think that water would get down into anything that, I mean, especially that much water. But obviously they survived and, escaped it, because it says that there were other civilizations across the globe or the continent or, the plane, and started civilizations, because Thoth says that he was told to carry this knowledge to those civilizations that were around on different continents, and sharing and giving them the information that he was instructed to do, give them knowledge and wisdom and show them how to build and why they should build this and harness energy and all that stuff. So you have this ancient civilizations that are here thousands and thousands of years before, and you have people during those time periods that are teaching and trying to show people the path of life, the path and the purpose of each of us individually, because we're not all the same. We're all individually set on our paths that are here on earth through our lives, and learning that's one of the things that I'm learning and I'm studying on and researching, through reading information and books, is we get so caught up in everything that's going on around us in our daily lives with whatever, making more money, paying all the bills. How am I going to take care of this? My kids, my house, my car, my whatever. That we forget that the moment of the now, of living in the life that we have now. And that time goes by. And we worry about things that are materialistic that are going to be gone. None of this stuff matters. None of this stuff on earth matters, because you can't take it with you. It's going to be gone. Buy your big house. Is it going to matter how big of a house you have? That you got to have 50 bedrooms while people are on the street starving? Kids are homeless. People are dying in other countries because they ain't got food to eat, but you're throwing out garbage all the time. or complaining about food when people don't have nothing to eat or sleeping outside. It's teaching us, these ancient teachers, these leaders were trying to teach us about being good human beings and, trying to show us a better life and a better way. It's not all about just, going to church on Sundays or going to the mosque on Sundays or, going wherever you have to go. It's deeper than that. That we all individually have to take a look within ourselves and, realize who we are and what our purpose is. Sometimes we might not find it, but it's making the best of our time before our time is up, because like I said before, I believe in reincarnation. I wholeheartedly accept that, because like I said, I always knew something was up. I was never, when I went into combat, I was never scared of dying. If something was going to happen, we all told each other, I hope it's quick and it's just painless, because we knew it could have came. It came for us a couple of times. But when I got back, my grandmother's sister, her and I are very close. She would never let me leave anywhere without me being able to say goodbye. If I was going to leave or she was leaving, she always told me goodbye before leaving. She still does. But she had showed my Nina Lily a picture of, I think it's their cousin, who was in World War II, would be about the same age I was when I went to combat. He was in World War II, died in France during the invasion. And he was the same age I was when I went into combat. And I nearly almost, we got into some pretty good stuff. And I always wondered, like, why am I here? I believe, to me, that it's me fulfilling that purpose or going through that motions and learning, because I never got to experience those things in my past life. I never got to be able to do those things, have a wife, have kids, just see the world and do things and spend time with my family. So it's a learning experience from here on out, what I'm going to do, and how I'm going to do it is my karma and my choices that I make through life and things like that, if you believe in that sort of thing. And yeah, that's another thing, that another puzzle piece that put me on my path that I'm on, because when I saw that picture, I was like, holy crap, there ain't no denying it. Dead on, couldn't freaking tell it apart, but it was there right in front of my face. So it's things like that, when you see it or you experience or you go through it, it's life altering. It changes your perspective on a lot of things, and it makes you ask, what else? There's got to be something else going on besides what I've been told, and it puts a lot of us on our paths. So I had somebody asking me, I think it was my son, we were talking about conspiracies or things, why people call them conspiracies, or conspiracies that happen that have been validated to be true. And that was a coined phrase that was used, I believe, during the 60s, for people who were protesting and were anti government establishment, that were going against the system and saying, hey, we're not going to take your guys' shit anymore, and you guys are doing things that are not lawful, and coming out with these quote unquote conspiracy theories against the government and why things are happening. So that has been a coined phrase that has happened ever since then. So if you didn't know, now you know why people say that. It's just something that was coined to disrupt people from being heard, to make them look like they're crazy, they're stupid, they're out there, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. A way to discredit people, just like they're doing in the media with Donald Trump and with everybody, that's on the side of being for the people and doing their jobs and making things happen. They're not just conspiracy theorists, but they're the wrong people. If you're going to stand up for the people and you're not going to be in our group, you're against us. And so that's how it's been for a long time. And conspiracies, I will tell you what is one conspiracy that you've researched on? I see this meme all the time. What is one conspiracy that you've researched or looked up that you know in your whole heart has got to be true? And there are a lot of them. We know from the great work that Dr. Stephen Greer did on John F. Kennedy and his assassination. We know that the government set that up. He had the documentation. He had the paperwork of the memos that were put out talking about he's got to go. He's fucking up our shit here, and we can't take this anymore. So we're gonna have to do what we have to do. Get Lyndon B. Johnson in there. He'll go along with us. So yeah, that was one conspiracy theory that came out and was found out later that it was freaking true. How nuts is that? Go figure. And I wanted to play this one because this is something that I did a essay on in college, was the John F. Kennedy assassination. Let me pause it, then I'll get it up here. So this conspiracy, like I said, I mean, it's well-known fact. The government took him out for the reasons because of the whole failure of the Bay of Pigs. He didn't want to get the troops going into Vietnam. Same old shit that happened 9/11 and the same shit that's happening now. These assholes want to go to war. You have people that are standing in their way. They don't want anything to do with it. They'll do anything to stop it, including the president, who said that he was not going to send people over there, that he was not going to do it, and he was actually going to pull people out. They got rid of him and pushed along with it because that was something that they wanted. So, yeah, let's check this out real quick. We'll watch it together. It's interesting stuff. All right, here we go. So what you're going to want to do is watch. He's going to point it out, but pay close attention to the driver.
This version is only in slow motion.
So you see here, they're driving down. President Kennedy will get hit with the first bullet right here. Pow. Hits him, goes through the governor. Now look at the driver's hands now. You'll see him pull something out of his pocket right there. Pow. Did you get that? He's going to slow it down and show it to you right now. Fucking crazy. Look at this. You'll see him. He's digging in his pocket. He turns around. Boom. You see it? I'll go back so you can check it out one more time. See the gun? Right there. Right there. Right there. Got it? Boom. Fucking crazy. So that is one conspiracy that was debunked. And like I said, they all had to do what they had to do. It's no lie, it's no freaking subtlety, but it is what it is. And is she okay? Okay. I wrote this whole thesis out on the whole layout of why they had him terminated and gave my grounds for why they did it and the moments following up to it. So that was one thing that was validated because Dr. Stephen Greer came out with the paperwork that showed that the CIA had put that hit out on Kennedy, and it was approved by the people that be. Also, you had poor Marilyn Monroe. Anybody who remembers Marilyn Monroe? She was dating both of the Kennedys, Bobby and JFK. And she had her hands on some information because obviously she was in the White House with them. And let me see if I can get it. All right, I'm going to stream it right now. Give me a minute. Get this up here. Here we go. All right. So this is Dr. Stephen Greer talking about. If you have not seen this movie, it's called Unacknowledged. It's on Prime. You can buy it or rent it. But Dr. Stephen Greer's documentaries are all on there. I really, 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 really urge you, if you have not seen them, please do.
Interestingly, there was a man on my executive committee. He was a very well-known actor and singer named Burl Ives. And Burl Ives, he was a 33rd degree Mason. So all of you people who think that all these secret societies, everyone in it knows everything, they don't know anything. And he said to me, he says, we all know that Marilyn Monroe didn't die of an overdose.
Boop, boop-be-doo.
He said, do you know why
Or Marilyn.
they killed Marilyn?
Mr. President, the late Marilyn Monroe.
And I said, well, I didn't until I got this document. It's a virtual death warrant because she was found a couple days later. 3 August 1962.
Listen to what he's going to say.
Telephone conversations between reporter Dorothy Kilgallen, who was looking into Roswell and other UFO issues, and her close friend Howard Rothberg, from wiretap of telephone conversation of Marilyn Monroe and Attorney General Bobby Kennedy. Rothberg discussed the apparent comeback of the subject with Kilgallen and the breakup with the Kennedys. This is referring to the fact that Marilyn Monroe had been having an affair with not one but both Kennedy brothers, and it was becoming conspicuous, so they broke it off. Rothberg indicated in so many words that she had secrets to tell, no doubt arising from her trysts with the President and the Attorney General. One such secret mentions the visit of the President at a secret air base for the purpose of inspecting things from outer space. Now, this is 1962. Kilgallen said that if the story is true, it would be a terrible embarrassment for Jack and his plans to have NASA put men on the moon.
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
The subject repeatedly called the Attorney General and complained about the way she was being ignored by the President and his brother. Subject threatened to hold a press conference and would tell all. It's a tragic situation because she was an actress. She didn't understand the national security state and the viciousness of those who want to keep these sort of secrets.
Yeah. I wish we could have a video party. We could all check it out and see it. But, there it is. I mean, they had her taken out, plain and simple, because she was going to go against the grain, and they weren't going to have it. So this shows you at the level of what they will do if they will take out the president and then take out the woman he was having an affair with, not only him, but his brother. And because she knew things that she shouldn't have known because they were doing shit around her, saying things around her, that would have screwed them up. He'd have probably got kicked out of office. So what do? You eliminate the threat. And that's sadly exactly what they did. And this goes into a whole bunch of other things. You know, why did they, why? I mean, there's so much stuff. You know, they're all rabbit holes. Because once you start looking at one, you're going to go into it and it's going to lead to something else. That's going to lead to something else. But it's all tied together. They are hiding things. They are lying to us. They are giving us a bunch of bullshit, and they're not telling us exactly what's going on and what's happening. But we're finding out. Why? Because of networks like this, where we're able to communicate with each other and talk about this stuff, and people get out there and they start looking at it. So you have the conspiracies of government, shadow governments, secret societies that are in the government, the one percenters that are controlling and running everything. You see it now because you see how our government is. You see how our cities are. You see what's happening, chaos. The government, they're tearing our Constitution up by allowing shit that should not even be happening. But people aren't doing anything, and we're coming to that hold. And I think now is why we're seeing a lot of this stuff, is because people are realizing, holy crap, like they're waking up to the reality of things that are happening around us and the lies that we've been told. So you have things since then, all the way till now, of cover-ups, conspiracies, getting us involved in conflicts. Why we are getting involved in conflicts. Why people who are trying to make life better are being killed and assassinated. Why they're being taken out. Why this energy and this technology that's going to benefit human beings is being suppressed. If it was something that a president or a government leader, if they would stand together and say, we want this shit known. We want it known. Because as I said, when you look into that acknowledged video, the things, the briefs that Dr. Stephen Greer, that man that you just seen with the glasses and the blue shirt, was talking about, I praise that man because he says he has to walk around with a gun all the time because he's worried that somebody's going to kill him. But they know they won't do that because if they do, he's going to release everything that he's got. So you have people like him. They're pushing for this. But you got to remember something. These people that are in power, they don't want to give up that power because that means that you're going to end up giving up your cash cow. Why do you think these people in office now are holding on to this position? They're scrambling. They're scared as hell. Fuck, if we lose this one, we're fucking all going to jail. They're going to do everything in their power to cover this thing up. They already are. They're lying to everybody to their face. They don't care. That's blatant bullshit right there. And that shows you should be able to see the level of no disdain for life that they have, that they don't care about who they kill, who they set up, how bad it looks, what the casualties are. As long as it gets their point across and something happens to fucking make everybody look over there, get the distraction off of them. Oh, those aren't UFOs. Those are test balloons or flares, or, it's an optical illusion. No, that wasn't no UFO that you saw. That was a test plane for the military, blah, blah, blah. No, those weren't creatures that you found in the woods, or there's no such thing as Atlantis or people that live in the sea, or the earth is hollow and, we're on a flat earth or whatever. I just posted that thing about how NASA, check this out. You might not know this, but how NASA bases every single one of their tests and theories against a flat earth model. Now this I posted it on here because it was in the CIA files, and some other people that are on here posted it and was like, hey, check it out. It's on their website. So I got it, downloaded it to the computer, and sure as shit, All their mathematical equations and everything is based against a flat earth. No shit. Like I said, go look it up yourself. Go look it up yourself. Throughout history, they've been talking about the dome breaking through the glass ceiling. For Christ's sake, in the 50s, 60s, they were shooting nuclear bombs in the atmosphere to try and freaking disrupt it. Then NASA comes out again and says that the moon is actually in the Earth's atmosphere because the Earth's atmosphere extends out farther than what they've been telling everybody. And the Earth is, or the moon is actually closer. It's in our atmosphere. It's not outside of the Van Allen belt. It's inside of it. What are you going to believe? They can't keep their damn story straight to save their lives. They tell us that we don't have the technology to go back to the moon. All the evidence on all the archive footage and everything, some of it was deleted. It's gone. It was destroyed. They can't replay it. They can't get it back. And then they want you to believe that they sent this gold foiled freaking tin can up there with these freaking legs, when the guy that actually filmed it, what was his name? Mike Kubrick, came out and said, yeah, they fucking paid me to fucking film the moon landing because they wanted to beat the Russians. They knew they weren't going to be able to do it in time. Then just fucking beginning of the year, Putin's got his freaking intelligence officials showing him this video saying that AI is pointing out 97% falsities in the moon pictures and the videos, that it's fake, that what it can detect in the videos is not real. Like I said, look it up yourself. Whether you choose to believe it or not, that's on you. I'm just sharing the information. It's really interesting. Like I said, when I'll give you a theory. So whoever else is watching, because I have somebody else on here that's watching. If you've seen that movie, They Live, right? If you've seen that movie, They Live, and you've watched it, this is exactly what it is. He's got glasses that he's able to see in another dimensional, because we're being programmed with these frequencies that do not allow us to see things for what they really are. So these glasses put you in tune with those frequencies. It blocks that signal, so they see these people that are aliens. The propaganda, the food, the buying, consuming, everything. They're the ones that are causing this chaos. They're the ones that are fucking putting us in war. They're the ones that are trying to destroy this planet. And he can see them. That is exactly what is happening now. Is a lot of people are waking up and seeing shit for what it really is. Why do I need to go to the fucking store and buy fucking fruit that's got chemicals in it when I could just plant that shit in my own house without chemicals and give my kids fresh vegetables? Why can't I own livestock and just kill my own livestock when I need meat, or go hunting and just kill something and just stock it up in my thing and just eat meat? Raise my own chickens, raise my own food. It's crazy, but a lot of people don't think about that stuff. Why we're getting sick. You think they're going to fucking help you get better? You're a fucking money purse to them. The more people that are sick, the more people that are dying, the better. It's bad for business to get better. Why do you think they got rid of holistic medicine? Why do you think they got rid of holistic treatments? There's no money in that shit. You tell somebody that they could fix something with honey, cayenne pepper, and apple cider vinegar, It'll cure their cold or their mucus problem or anything, or you give them some menthol, natural mint rub elixirs, and it starts healing and curing people. Big Pharma don't want to have nothing to do with that. And I had said something on my last podcast. I don't think people realize this, is that during Operation Paperclip, they brought all over here these Nazi scientists, doctors, that had murdered and killed thousands of people. Okay? Brought them here to this country to work in hospitals and work in science divisions and work in the rocket program and NASA. Did you know that Nazi soldiers that were doing experiments on women and were doing experiments and just asking these towns to hand over their women between such and such age, and when they were done with them, if they ended up dying, they would ask them for more? These are the fucking same people who own medical companies here. And I'm talking about major big companies. They're working in the United States. I posted that video of that big ass Nazi rally they had in freaking New York at Madison Square Garden, for Christ's sake. And that was during the 50s. Gotta wake up, folks. These people are here. They've been here for a long time. They've been waiting to just destroy this country. And they're doing it. Because the freaking people that are stupid and blind, I'm sorry to say it, you're dumb if you think this guy is freaking going to save you. Any of them. They are allowing this crap to happen. And it's been happening, and they've planned it out, and they've finally gotten people so stupid to be able to do what they want them to do, because they'll just give up their fucking freedoms in the name of help. The government will save us. No, they're not. People need to wake up and see what's really going on. It's pretty freaking sad. But one thing that conspiracy has shown us is that we've gotten so far from freaking taking and sustaining ourselves that we don't even worry about how we're going to take care of ourselves if something was to hit the fan. We just think that the government's going to save us. God damn it. Sorry, I'm trying to get on my profile so that way I can comment. But we've come so far from building our own homes and building our own land and our own equipment, with our own equipment, and surviving and sustaining ourselves and sustaining our families, that hold on. Hey, what's up, Matt? Cousin James, what's going on, Primo? A lot of the times we forget to realize that we're this close. We are so close from losing our freedoms because of the lies that we're being told. And President Reagan said we are only one generation away of losing freedom. And then we don't want that to happen. Boeing has announced that it has a new skin, a metal that can stretch, react, bend, shed light, cloak the plane, and they are putting it on a plane to see. They know it works, but they're testing it. Let's see if I can find it for you. Well, what do you know? Can't find it. Oh well. So I tried. But yeah, Boeing's got their new technology where they've got this skin to the metal actually contorts and does everything. It's like some shit off of what you would hear from a UFO, reverse engineering stuff. So that goes back to the whole thing. They've got this technology. Whistleblowers have come out from it and said a whole lot of why things have happened or why we've had so much advancement in technology. I mean, we've got smartphones that can talk to people across the world, cameras, recording, night vision, thermal cameras, fiber optics, um, jet power, nuclear power, fusion. Um, Jesus, I mean, the list goes on. But like I said before, when does it become an issue where people wake up and say, okay, well, it's fucking 2023. We should have had fucking flying cars by now. I mean, this whole time, there hasn't been some advancement in fucking automobiles, and was probably exactly why they snuffed that poor guy who made that water engine in the 70s or 80s. Now look at, you got Tesla, you got Toyota coming out with the first water combustible engine. It's fucking sad. It's really sad. But it is what it is, and the tall tale signs are in the proof. So like I said, you've got to do your own research and look into this stuff for yourself. So it becomes one of those things where you look and you see what's actually going on. You see that they're fucking, why would you stop? Okay, if you're so fucking worried about cow shit, why would you not kill the animals to use the meat instead of giving us fake meat to keep the animals that are causing carbon monoxide, that are polluting the earth, supposedly? And not only that, do you believe that they're, okay, because this is something else. Have you guys seen the movie Soylent Green? Nobody? All right. Okay, hold on. All right. I'm gonna screen share it and we'll check it out together. All right, ready? Check it out.
What is the secret of Soylent Green? New York City, in the year 2022. Nothing runs anymore. Nothing works. But the people are the same. And the people will do anything to get what they need.
This is the police.
What they need most is Soylent Green.
The supply of Soylent Green has been exhausted. Return to your home.
Kind of looks like the situation that we're in right now, right? Can't feed these immigrants that are coming into the country. Can't take care of our cities.
He has a 2-year backlog of unsolved murders. Now
Gotta feed
he's on a
people,
case
right?
that must be solved. Saul Roth, Thorne's private library.
Hey, Saul.
A living book in a world without books.
Have some pencils, courtesy of your next assignment. William R. Simonson.
Simonson, he was the first to learn the secret of Soylent Green.
They told me to say that they were sorry, but that you had become unreliable.
Saul Roth was the next to know.
How do we come to this?
And he chose to die rather than reveal the secret of Soylent Green.
What is the secret of Soylent Green?
Why did you set up Simonson?
I didn't. Sure. Officially, she's furniture. She comes with the apartment. She belongs to the tenant.
How many times you been in trouble with the police, Cheryl?
Never.
Can't hear you.
Never.
Captain Hatcher. First, he wanted this case solved.
Simonson, what do you say?
It was an assassination.
Now, he just wants it closed.
Who bought you? High and hot, and they want this case closed permanently. Their way. Now, you sign this.
You signed it!
Dorn refuses to close the Simonson case.
Just do what you have to do.
We'll figure.
Where did you go with Simons?
He took me to church.
Church?
Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. It has been 6 months since my last confession.
Now I want to pause this. Okay, now you see what they're doing, right? He's looking at the conveyor belt, and they've got all these bodies, and he's like, what the hell is going on? This is a big controversy of what is being put out there right now. Like I said, it's another rabbit hole. You can look it up yourself. They found human meat in fast food products. And not only did they find it in that, they found it in ground beef. They found it that they were testing it out or putting it out. And I showed that clip on that Food Network where those chefs come on there and the people taste it. And the guy was like, oh, well, what? You got 3 choices. It's either shark fin, tofu, or human flesh. And they've already eaten it. And they're like, you better be fucking kidding me. Like, this can't be flesh. And the guy's like asking the producers, is this fucking legit? And they're like, yeah, they signed waivers. They already know, blah, blah, blah. And the chef's like, yeah, it's human meat. And the girl gets up and starts throwing up. So this is something that was predicted. So they've known about this. You've got to remember, these people are not dumb. They plan this stuff. This is something that has been planned for years. We'll stay good. We'll just feed the fucking poor people shit while we're eating lavishly and living the good life. We'll just let them kill themselves and die. So remember this. And this movie is predicting it's 2022, 2024 when this is supposed to be happening. And here we are. They've confirmed that they found human DNA in the meat. And do you think that we have enough meat on this planet to sustain every single freaking person? No. So where the fuck they getting the meat from?
Charlton Heston, Edward G. Robinson, Chuck Connors, Lee Taylor Young, Brock Peters, Paula Kelly, and Joseph Cotton fight for survival and try to solve the most bizarre riddle ever to face mankind. The search for the secret of Soylent Green. You will find out why Soylent Green means life. You will find out why Soylent Green means death.
We gotta stop him!
What is the secret of Soylent Green?
Please!
So I seen that movie. I'd heard about it, and I'm not a spring chicken, but I used to grow up watching old movies with my dad, and that was one of the movies we had watched together. But I seen that again, and I saved it, and I bought it, and I was just blown away because it makes you think, like I said, had they predicted this stuff? Is this something that they've been planning and known about this whole time? It's got to be. This stuff isn't just a coincidence. Okay? Artificial meat, artificial food, shit's not even real, and they're feeding it to you. Sometimes they don't even tell you. I can't even trust the freaking goat. I have to go to a butcher or something to get my meat if I'm going to eat it. Because to see how they're able to just glue pieces of old meat with new meat together and it looks like gristle, and y'all can have that. That's what we've come to now. And now you probably eating freaking dead people. They don't even care. They're just like, go ahead. They've been eating it for a while. I guess it's working. That's freaking crazy to think that we've come to that. But I mean, look at how society is. You know, it's gone to crap. I believe that they're capable of I mean, Jesus. Think about it. So, like I said, that's a big conspiracy. 9/11 is a big conspiracy with me. I know that was a false flag setup. Got to be. It's too much evidence to support it. And here we are, 15 years later, going through it again with Ukraine. And these bastards are willing to risk nuclear war to get what they want. But is it going to be worth the price? Because you're going to have to wait years and years and years. They'll probably be, they can afford it. They've got bunkers. There's some people to build it for them. But looking into these things and looking into why, what is the reason why? Why would what's the gain? You know, a lot of people are like, well, why would they do that? What's the necessary reason why they would do something like that? There's nothing for them to gain off of it. Yeah, it is. You hear them telling you all the time, oh, we got to do population control. There's too many people here. We can't sustain everybody. The world is deteriorating because we're overpopulated. Cause a war, get a catastrophe, let all these immigrants that are just running rampant, killing people. Now you got measles breakouts in Chicago. Fucking God knows what else is going to come out. You've got Europe and Ukraine. Russia's just waiting patiently. North Korea is just so silent. That's really scary. Things will work out. They always do. But it's just what's going to happen and how it's going to happen. So, I think everybody's off. People are going to sleep or something. But yeah, always, you know, like I say it all the time on the show, you know, you guys on the episodes is question everything. If it doesn't seem right, it probably heard that before. But it's probably true. If you need to second guess something, you should. You should. Always look into things. Look into your local area. Like I said, I'm weary. I didn't get the chance to jump into this. I might as well now, but national parks. All right. So national parks overlaid with missing people is astounding. This is something that has been talked about for a long time. And let me put this up here real quick. All right, so what you're seeing right here is a map system of people that have mysteriously disappeared. Okay. And what it is they overlaid it with the bottom, which shows the largest cave systems in the US. But not only, and I was looking through it because I wanted to make sure I got a good one. This one's just something different. I can go and I'll find another one right now. This one only shows the cave systems themselves, but is the fact of the matter is that people that go missing in this area, these are national park covered areas. Are you starting to see the connection between the two? There's a reason why these people are going missing and disappearing without a trace, because the tunnel systems that are there, the national parks, the portals that they found across the US. And not only that, they know that there are things that are living in these national parks that they're trying to cover up. And these things that happen, you can't fly a plane in there. You can't go just trouncing off into the wood. You have to stay to the trails. So they know that people aren't going to sit there and go, looking around these thousands of acres of land. So what do? You just sit there and you make it a national park. Close the whole area off. Nobody can check it out. People can't investigate it. It's federal authority, so they can't snoop their nose into it. Well, we're looking into it. But the evidence shows that they're hiding something. People are going missing in these areas that are covered by national parks with the largest underground tunnel systems that not just connect the United States. One of the whistleblowers, Emery Smith, said that they dumped dye into one side on the East Coast, and it came out in another area like 300, 500 miles away. The dye came out. In the movie Godzilla, you see them traveling, Godzilla versus King Kong, you see them traveling in that train system, that tunnel system, the inner earth, the subway line. That's it. That's the tunnel system. And Emery Smith, the whistleblower, if you don't know who he is, go on Gaia and look up Emery Smith. He came out and was saying, I've seen that stuff. It's real. They use it. They will tell you about it. And when Godzilla versus King Kong came out, that's exactly what he said. He was so shocked that everything that they showed in that movie, as far as the hollow earth, that tunnel system, the vehicles, the weapons they were using, he was like, it's uncanny. He goes, minus a couple of tweaks here and there. He was like, but it's exactly what they're showing you. And he said, I will never, ever take my family to a national park as long as I live. And that's why. So next time you're planning your trip and you're thinking about staying there or whatever, keep that in mind. But I appreciate everybody coming along on this and joining us for what has been an amazing Friday afternoon, Freak Show Friday, and everybody hanging out. Everybody was really quiet today. I didn't really get any comments at all. Well, except for Matt. Matt hooked it up. Appreciate you, brother. But there always seems to be an influx of people that are gonna, get on and people that are not. So, we do what we do. As long as the information's out there, we know what's going on. Everybody's aware. So, I just wanted to tell you guys all thank you. Love you. I appreciate you. Be safe. Stay out of trouble. Stay aware of your surroundings. Have a good weekend. And remember, always question everything. Seek out new information, new knowledge. And I will see you guys soon. If not on here, I will see you guys on Facebook, X, or YouTube. Just look for Secret of the Unknown. You guys will see it up there. Subscribe it, like it, share it with your friends, pass it around to the family. It's cool. Get the word out there, folks. And I will see y'all soon.